Hey guys, it's Dave here from DD Drums. Welcome to this lesson. Now this lesson is called 10 mistakes that drummers often make. And now I'm telling you there's probably a whole lot more that we could actually put in here, but we're putting 10 because I want to consolidate some of the most common ones I've seen over the years. I've been teaching drums for, ages, like about 20 years now. And over the years I've seen some common reoccurrences that students will do. And I'm going to tell you that if you improve these mistakes and you turn them into areas that are going really well, the change that you can often see in a drummer is huge. So you're going to make an effort to, if you see one of these mistakes that you do it, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it, but certainly make an effort to improve in that area, because I feel that it can really make a big change in your playing. So let's get through the 10 mistakes that drummers often make. All right, the first one is drummers will often not practice the metronome. They will just kind of avoid that area of their playing for whatever reason. I was actually in the same boat. When I started playing when I was about 5, I didn't probably start practicing till I was about maybe 15 or so with the metronome. And the funny thing was, when I started practicing the metronome, literally in about a 6-month period of practicing with the metronome, I improved more in that 6 months than I did in 3 years beforehand. And it was just something that kind of got me hooked. So I definitely recommend getting a metronome to practice with, because you'll find that your playing becomes way more consolidated and your timing improves a lot too. For example, if someone doesn't practice the metronome, they might, speed up and slow down. There's that kind of sense that the timing is very shaky. While if you do practice the metronome, it becomes a lot more steady, And another advantage of practicing the metronome is that, with all the different tempos there, metronome has, like for example, 60 beats per minute, 100 beats per minute, 150 beats per minute, you start to get used to practicing all those different tempos. You get used to playing in all those different tempos. While if you don't practice the metronome, then you're probably finding yourself always playing the same tempo. You become you have that default tempo that you always play. And that's a problem, because say you're playing with a band, you'll always end up going back to that default tempo. So you'll end up slowing down to get to that tempo again, or speeding up to get to that default tempo. And because that's your center of gravity when it comes to playing, you feel more comfortable there. So practicing the metronome helps you get used to a whole lot of different tempos as well. So it improves your timing, improves your tempos, and overall improves your talent. Mistake number 2 that drummers make, and this is the worst mistake of all, and that is not practicing at all. I mean, seriously, if you're making that mistake right now, that is the worst mistake of all. I mean, because practicing is the thing that takes you from knowing things, intellectually knowing how to do something, to being able to physically be able to do it. So really making that change from someone who knows something to be able to do it, and even get to that third level, which is like mastering things on the drums. It's going to take the practice in you, all right? So let's make sure that we get on the kit and practice. Now, sometimes probably the reason why some people don't practice may be because they feel that when they play, they kind of suck a bit. They don't sound that good. But you have to be willing to embrace that phase of playing. I still go through that when I learn new things. Like recently I started getting lessons from a drum teacher, an amazing drummer here in Australia called Darren Frugia. And on our first lesson, he gave me these exercises to practice, and I was like so bad at them. But I knew that would be the case. I was prepared for it because I'd been through that process so many times. And that process of when you learn something new, you kind of suck at it. And you kind of have to just make friends with that process and know that that's a part of it. And then as you practice more and more, you get really good at it. And then all of a sudden, people start saying, wow, that sounds really good. So be willing to embrace that. Just have the determination and persistence, and know that, as you practice, you're going to go all the way from the suck phase all the way to the sounding really great phase. All right, you'll get to that phase. So believe in it, believe in yourself. You can do it. All right, guys. Mistake number 3 is one that you often see in beginners, and that is holding the sticks too tight. You see when people hold the sticks, they'll just grip onto them and like be all stiff in their hand, in their wrist, in their arm, and they'll end up playing like this. And you really see it if you start to play faster, because they'll be like, that's if I try to play fast with holding the sticks tight, this is how it looks and sounds. Oh, and that would get really tiring, let alone, it doesn't really feel good, doesn't feel good to play like that, doesn't sound good. So, you're going to learn to hold the sticks loosely, really. That's the key, holding the sticks loosely. And I know sometimes the goal that people have is they want to get fast. But, getting fast is one of the key ingredients is being relaxed. So the more relaxed you are, it's a bit of a paradox, because the more relaxed you are, the faster you can go. Most of the time people think that if you're holding on tight and you're, really kind of going for it, you can get fast, but being relaxed is the key. So how do you be relaxed on the drums? Well, I've made a video on this, and I believe it's on my website, but basically you want to be holding the sticks, with the correct technique. Just holding the sticks relaxed is the number one thing right there, though, for the time being. Mistake number 4 is playing loud all the time. And hey, I'm not innocent here. I've been very guilty. I remember when I was at high school, I was playing for all these people in my gym. There was about like maybe 40, 50 people watching me play, and I was playing really loud, something like this. I was playing something like that, and the teacher came in and he says, Dave, settle down, mate, settle down. And I'm like, stop playing. And then he turns around to everybody else and he says, good players know how to play loud and soft. And everyone like looks at me and goes, I'm like thinking, I was so embarrassed then. I'm thinking, here I was trying to maybe show off a bit, and all of a sudden he says, good players know how to play loud and soft. And so I kind of didn't really know what he meant back then, because I was probably a little bit immature. But the thing is, being able to play, different volumes is really important. So I guess the number one thing I would say is practice playing at different heights. So practice having the stick low in height and then higher. The height of the stick when you're playing will determine the volume. So if you're playing the single stroke roll, try it with the stick low, and try it with the stick high as well. And you might even try going between softs and louds all in the same roll. And if you can do that really well, then that's a good sign you've got good control of your dynamics. And if you have trouble with that, well then that's something to practice. Maybe practice playing softer. Practice playing lower in height, and you develop more control in that. And that's going to be really important, especially if you're playing, say, with a band, and they've got just acoustic guitars and they're not plugged into amps. They're going to be quite soft, so you want to be able to connect with those players and be able to not over-dominate the situation. You want to be able to play softer for them, all right? So depending on the situation, that'll call for a certain style of playing. And if you're on stage in front of hundreds of people, chances are playing that loud volume is going to be perfect. While if you're, as I said, playing an acoustic show with acoustic guitars, then you might want to play softer in there. So getting used to playing in certain situations is important. All right, mistake number 5 is slouching when you're playing the drums. And that's probably, the year 2019. I'm making this video in 2019. Now you do see a lot of posture being like this. I don't know if you can see my posture here, but just kind of slouching and, playing like this. And that's going to cause a lot of, back pain and so forth. And I did make a video on how to play drums without back pain. And that's a great one for if you do have pain in your back. Definitely check out that video. I'll put a link down below for that. But also shows you a technique for simply, sitting on a towel that's been folded up, and that simply allows you to sit tall with really good posture without trying to, try and do that too hard. Because sometimes, if you're trying to sit tall, it can put a big sway in your back anyway. So you don't want to try and overly sit tall, but you definitely want to have good posture, because that's going to help your back, and it's also going to help you have better control around the drums when you're playing. I remember one of my students, we did this. I could see that he was slouching quite a lot, and it affected his technique. He just couldn't see that, and we just changed that one thing, just improved his technique, got him sitting tall using the towel technique, and voila, just like that, all of a sudden playing became a lot easier. Because, I don't want to get too in detail, but everything's connected. Your hands are connected to your shoulders are connected to your back, everything's connected. And so if you're slouching, that's going to affect the performance of your hands, how they move, all right? So if everything's sitting how it should be when you're at the kit, you're going to play much more freely, and it's going to feel a whole lot better when you play. Okay, sin number 4 is taking the foot off the pedal when you play. Now, say I was playing a rock beat like this. Now keep an eye on my right foot for a moment as I play. Watch this. Believe it or not, I've seen this from people. I've seen drummers do it, and I don't know why, but you've got to keep the foot connected to the pedal. Right? You've got to keep the foot on the pedal. You don't even want to take it off like that. You want to keep the shoe or your foot, whichever part is connected to the pedal. You're going to keep it on the pedal, right? You just get better control. And I understand that the reason why sometimes people take their foot off the pedal is so they don't accidentally play it when they're not meant to. But, it's just you're going to actually find it really hard to learn a lot of beats if you do that. So just keeping your foot on the pedal is, unless there's some technique that I'm yet to hear about, I definitely highly recommend the idea of keeping the foot on the pedal. And if you disagree with me, put a comment in the comment section down below on this one. Maybe we can open up a conversation around that. But I'm pretty sure this is the best technique to use, just because much more efficient. And it doesn't mean you have to keep your whole foot on the pedal. It just means you keep like the toes, the front area of the foot on the pedal. Because I used to play heel down a little bit for a few years, and you can play heel down, but I found that playing heel up, you got much more power, much more control, much more speed. So I like to just keep the front, the toes area, that front part of the foot on the pedal, right? Okay, drumming sin number 7 is practicing things too quickly. And hey, I get this. We want maybe we live in the world of instant validation. Do you agree with that? Everyone wants things like straight away. Everyone wants something yesterday. And so when we go to learn something, it's like going through that process of learning something is annoying. So we just want to get things now and be able to play it fast. Like, yeah. But come on, it's really important to slow things down. So that way you can get good control of what you're doing. I remember, as I said, I was doing some lessons with this great drummer in Australia called Darren Ferrugia, and he's got me doing these new patterns around the kit. And all these different patterns that are, using the left foot too, that was the tricky part. And when I first started learning these patterns, like all these kind of patterns, I would have to really slow them down, like so much, like where it was like this. And just really slow down and really think about things. And it's okay. And if I try to speed it up too much, I would just lose control. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying here, right? When you first learn something new, just slow it down, because it just allows you to develop the necessary reflexes and coordination and control, the proper control. And then once you kind of got it, then you can speed up, right? So I'm not saying don't play things quickly. Please don't think I'm not saying don't practice quickly. It's not that. It's playing quickly too quickly. Getting to that point where you're playing fast from the very start when you first learn something, and that can be a challenge, all right? So learn that, practice that idea. The sin number 8 is practicing things too slow. So you don't want to practice things too slow either. You want to make sure that, you're not just constantly playing. You're going to be able to play different tempos really well. And I'm not going to name names, but someone I know, I played in a band with them. I was playing guitar, and they were the drummer. And what ended up happening was every time we would play together, they would slow down. So we'd be at a certain tempo, and then all of a sudden someone would play slower and slower, and it would just drag and drag. So definitely be able to play different tempos, like slow, medium, fast. And that's where, I guess, the first rule, if you follow the first rule, which if you remember, the first one was make sure you practice the metronome. So if you do that, if you practice the metronome, you'll find that you'll get really good at different tempos, and you probably won't slow down. Mistake number 9, and I see this in beginners more so, and that is playing with the thumbs off the stick, all right? So if you're playing with the thumbs off the stick, that means you've got no fulcrum and no control. It's just like, you've got to keep the thumb on the stick. So sometimes I see drummers, their thumbs will go off, and at that point, you can see they're going to be technically challenged on the drum. So you're going to make sure your thumbs are on the stick, guys, all right? It just helps to give you a whole lot more control. All right, this is the last one. The last one is, the last mistake I often see is flamming the beats. And what does that mean? Flamming the beats? That simply means when you're playing, say I'll give you a bit of a demo here, but say you're playing a beat. That one didn't really have the mistake in it, but I'll add the mistake. See if you can pick it. Here it is. Did you hear it? Did you hear what was happening? Yeah. So the hi-hat and the bass drum, they weren't in time together. So it wasn't like this. But when I played the hi-hat and the bass drum, they weren't playing the exact same time. So you're going to make sure when you're practicing, whatever it is, that you don't have that thing going on. Because that just kills the feel, it kills the sound, and it just can sound sloppy. So make sure that you're not doing that. And guys, that's pretty much it. That's the 10 mistakes right there, that the 10 common drumming mistakes. And if you see any of those in your own playing, work on that one area. All right, you'll find a big change in your playing and in the sound of your playing if you work on any of those areas. I was probably guilty of one, as I said before. I never used to, practice with a metronome, and as soon as I did, it's like I improved so much in a short amount of time, just because it challenged my practice and took it to a whole new level. So I was guilty of that one. Another one I was guilty of was playing too loud. I used to play too loud, and they used to scare off other musicians because they would just walk away from the rehearsal with a headache. and they wouldn't want to play with me. So improving that area made a big difference, being able to play different volumes. And, I remember another one. I could go on and on. I won't. I'm not going to go on and on with this. I'm going to leave it there. But hey, I hope you got some value from this lesson. If you did, make sure you hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to more videos like this. And also, hey, what's the number one mistake you make, or what's the one from the list that you think you make the most? What's the one common drumming mistake that you've felt you've made over the years? And let us know what that is in the comments section below, all right? I'm guilty of a few. Let us know what you are. All right? Awesome, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video, guys. See you soon.